Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
I haven't seen you guys in forever, I have to say. Where you guys been? Where you guys been? Haven't seen you all day today. What's up with that? I'm just joking. Thank you guys for coming back. Thank you. And sorry for we had to break it up into 2 sessions, but this is, like I said, today was going to be long. We were going to cover a lot of stuff today. And, the audience felt they needed a break. We asked about it early on, at the very beginning, the top of the beginning of last show, whether we wanted to steamroll through all of this or if we wanted to have like an hour break and break it up a little bit. And the audience said, hey, we need an hour break. We want to break it up a little bit. So thanks for coming back. Thanks for joining the second segment of the Bullhorn Betty channel this Sunday. As promised, I didn't really want these. I wanted the actual written, hand-typed one, because it's so much easier to read. I can't find it. I should have downloaded it when I found it yesterday, and I didn't. So we're stuck with these. I can tell you, I'm looking at them. I don't know if Roberta wrote this. I really don't know if Roberta wrote this. In my understanding of Brian Laundrie's handwriting, this kind of looks like his handwriting, guys. Gotta say, that's just my opinion. My opinion. I am not a handwriting expert. Stop the presses. Bullhorn Betty is not a handwriting expert. So, just a cursory review of the handwriting. I'm making the determination for myself that this does look like Brian Laundrie's handwriting. So, good morning. Anissa, the first person to say hi in the chat for the second segment. So hello, my friend. Hello. And of course, next one was Mike and Robin with the hot dog. Oh boy. And a big shout out to Miss Robin for my calories today from Starbucks. This caramel ribbon crunch Frappuccino is to die for. As you can see, I'm almost done with mine. I think it's like 680 calories. I just drank. And I'm still hungry. But I stuck my pork loin in the oven in our little hour. So I actually was pretty productive in our little hour. I got some research done. I got my pork loin to slow roast in the oven, and I was able to make a trip to Starbucks and get back and start the live sooner than 11:30. So let's see who else we got. Bullhorn Betty is present. Vicki Hess, nice to see you. Guidance in Life with TLC, are better known as Guardian of Dolly's THC. We love you, my friend. We love you, my friend. Oh, we have Dave is in the house. Nice to see you, girlfriend. Hope all is well with you. Nice to see you, Karen Davis, Lex Luthor. Nice to see you, Margaret Allen, Graham James, CR. Believe we haven't seen you in here in a little minute. Believe, nice to have you. Hope all is well. I am Team Summer. Better watch out. I am Team Summer. Will karate chop you. Better be nice to Bullhorn Betty. Better be nice. I am Team Summer. Don't make Team Summer come get you. Don't make her. Karen G, nice to see you. I think I said hi to you, Mike. Ricky, nice to see you. How you doing? TMI Mike, by the way. I love your determination and your tenacity to hear Bullhorn Betty. Church, I can't wait. I can't watch your live stream. That's okay, Vicki. Well, you can get it on the restream. We love the fact that you're at church. Many of you guys know we need uplifting sermons to do our body good. Our body good. I listen to Christian music. That's all that's on my radio. If I can't find Christian music, because sometimes when I travel all over the country, so some states I just don't know where it's at on the radio. And during those times, I'll just listen to silence. Occasionally, I'll put some music on, some normal stuff, but I don't know any of it because I don't listen to it, But it's I like beat. I like the beat. Stephanie is in the house. Nice to see you. Ricky is saying happy Sunday to all. Well, happy Sunday to you too, Ricky. We love you. Love you coming in and he sounds like he's been working his little tail end off. So much love to you from the Bullhorn Betty channel. Munch, what's up, chat? Y'all good this morning? We're all shaking and baking. So that's good. My roast is in the oven now. Charlotte Ann, nice to see you. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All the way from Alberta, Canada. Thank you, Love Bug. Thank you. Bonnie's Journeys in the house. Red, nice to see you. CR, hey, how are you today? We got Buzz Anderson up in the house today. Munch is flashing the turtle signs. Part of the Turtle Gang. Nice to have you here. Nice to have you here. Samantha, nice to see you. Cindy S. Red Road Homestead, nice to have you. Nice to have you. Been a little minute. Mel B, been a little minute for you. Brenda, nice to see you in here. Kyle FB, it's hot today. Yes. I.e. why it's not hot coffee, but rather a Frappuccino. I was out there, and of course, because I got my air conditioning on like 79 degrees. Like I should not be freezing, but I'm freezing in my home. My body has just adjusted to the internal temperatures. Like when I go out, I'm like, ugh, you know, but right now the air conditioning is running. I'm putting my jacket on because I don't want to keep adjusting my thermometer or my thermostat rather, because the last time I had the AC guy, he's like, because I had one of those timer where you can set it certain parts of the day. And he said that was what's jacking up my fuel costs, my electric costs, was because I'd have that adjusted where during the day we'd let it go to like 83, and then we'd set it so it cooled down by the time we got home. But it was taking so long to work to cool down in this Florida heat, the 3 or 4 degrees in the house, that it was making the air conditioning work overdrive. He said, if you really want to keep your electric bill consistent, he's like, just keep it on a consistent temperature and leave it there. Set it and forget it. So I'm like, well, shoot, what's the purpose of having all these nifty little thermostats? Apparently they're jacking up the electric. Who knew? Who knew? Harley's World, nice to see you again. Oh, thank you. Karen G, thank you, Love Bug. Hope all is well with you today. CR also representing the Turtle Gang. Nice to have you guys over here. Terry Fetter, nice to see you. And I think we got everybody so far so good. If you guys did not get the notification, it might have been because I just went live, and we're doing another live here because it was just too much. We had already done 3 hours, and it was just too much for everybody to again come back here or just keep going with the live. Rather, we much rather have there we go. We much rather have a break so we could just get go to the bathroom, do all this other stuff. So we're there. So Thar, nice to see you representing the Turtle Crew. I gotta tell you, the Turtle Crew is an amazing crew. They really are. They really got their shizit together. They were able to do so much for Summer Wells, and all of you guys, no doubt, are part of that. Everybody that supports, Dolly and Dolly Vision and helps support getting the banners out there and supporting him making those beautiful shirts for Summer's candlelight vigil that he handed out. Just thank you guys for everything that you guys did. You guys were an amazing blessing to that initiative, to that candlelight vigil. You really did help make it as beautiful as it was. And without everyone that was involved and everybody that supported online or offline and in person are just, a blessing to each and every one of us that worked very hard for that. And just a big shout out to you guys. I know I shouted the Turtle Gang out when we were putting the banner up, but again, just, thank you. Thank you guys for all your hard work. It's just nice to know that there's such great people out there and great people on this channel too. Great people on this channel too. We worked very, very hard, and without all of you, this would not have been possible. So thank you again to everybody that was involved on this channel, on other channels. Turtle Gang, we love you. So getting on with it. I did get this letter. This is kind of a part of some of the stuff we were dealing with. So before we get into whether the monsters live under our bed or live in our neighborhood, I wanted to get this because I told everybody that I would print it up and read it before we moved on with this. And we've got a lot of stuff again to cover on this one. We got a lot of crazy people. Yeah. Absolutely. I agree. And a lot of people are, it was still disheartening because there were still some creators that have made some money and made their name off summer wells that didn't bother showing up to any vigil and actually rather had stayed home and dogged them. Like, what? And one of them is I don't even want to say it, but almost a devil worshiper that sells freaking candles and thinks she's mafia, right? Girl, you have no clue what you're about to step into. But I can tell you one thing, keep my name up at your mouth. Best thing for you, best strategy for you. Don't talk about her, could care less about her. Boy, she's got it in for Bullhorn Betty and MGL. Sounds to me like she's butthurt and jealous. And so there's also another thing that I do want to make sure that we broadcast. So you guys need to be very cognizant of this. As many of you know that have been following me for a really, really long time, there have been people that clone my account, impersonate me. It looks just like me, has my name typed the way I type it, has my thumbnail on there, my Bullhorn Betty thumbnail, but it's not me. And they were in WFLA yesterday, posting a bunch of nonsense. You guys all know that we had law enforcement out there at Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park at the time, not later. Law enforcement was there at the time the water bottle was found. There has been many people, including Nerdy Addict, which has lost complete and utter respect for me. And I no longer believe a thing that comes out of his mouth because I know for a fact what happened out there. Why? Because I was there, Olivia was there, JLR was there, Olivia's mom was there. We had 2 law enforcement officers out there, including a sergeant and Mike Ruiz from Fox News that was out there with us when that water bottle was found. So we had all these people, all these witnesses, and we recorded everything. And I actually have the recording on this channel where I put all the recordings together so you could see a view of exactly what transpired that day when the water bottle was found. Nerdy Addict had the audacity to go out there and try to allege that that water bottle was planted, which it was not. I was there. We don't do that. Right? We're supposed to go to jail, and here we're supposed to go to jail. Mind you, that water bottle is still in FBI custody to this day. Right? Planting evidence in an investigation, tampering with evidence in an investigation, obstruction of justice, all of these things are criminal and we will be prosecuted. FBI does not care who we are, whether we're on YouTube, whether we have an audience, whether we do, they don't care. If we did something like that, we would all be charged with a crime because it is a crime to do that. Period. We don't break the law. We don't advocate for people breaking the law. And we ourselves have professionalism to stay in the confines of that. Somebody was on WFLA while I was in there, impersonating me, saying that Olivia and JLR planted that bottle, and I had nothing to do with it. Writing that for me. Now, meanwhile, I'm sitting there telling people are getting all hot and bothered. I'm in there telling people that that's not me. I'm not saying that. And it caused a lot of confusion and frustration. So I want everybody on here, and I know this gets around because I'm Bullhorn Betty, and whether people like me or not, they still watch me. I'm sick and tired of people impersonating me. This is probably going to cause an influx in that, but I don't care. Because at the end of the day, I want the people that are watching to know that just because you see Bullhorn Betty there and you see a thumbnail doesn't mean it's me talking. People are actually trying to cause people to be irate, to attack me, not just online, right? Because WFLA is in my backyard. They're actually wanting harm to come of me. They're wanting people to come over here and cause a ruckus. That's what they're wanting. So because they're inciting violence toward me, I had to go down and file a police report to protect myself as well as my audience. So I did do that yesterday. I am getting sick and tired of this. When people start showing up at my house, they will start getting arrested, because I feel at this point there's been enough threats against me that this has gone on far enough, and it's time for the law enforcement to do their job. And that's what I've opted to do, to finally allow law enforcement to do their job. So with that being said, I just want you guys to be sure that I do not lie. I am not going out there misrepresenting facts. If you see my name and it doesn't sound like me, it's probably not me. They even started putting hearts. First of all, when have you ever seen me put hearts or heels next to my name? Just saying, right? So these people are actually trying to cause harm to me. Shame on them for that. But this shows you to what degree people's mental problems are being exposed. These people have problems with their brain. They have Bullhorn Betty derangement syndrome. So when you see people in there acting a fool with my name, it is not me. Okay, when they're saying things that I will not say, I say everything on my channel. I'm not going to WFLA to post mind-blowing information on their page. I will do it right here. You will see it come out of this mouth. Okay, if you do not hear it or see it come out of this mouth, it's not true. And it's not me. So I wanted to make sure everybody was aware of what's happening to me. So you guys can stop it, because you guys are in these chat rooms, and there are creators that are giving me wrenches in their chat rooms so they know that they're not being fooled by somebody impersonating me. It's not that I'm modding for their channel. It's not that we're BFFs. They're doing it to protect themselves as well, right? So they know who's actually speaking. And these impersonators, it's not just one person. Pender is one of them. She goes in there and changes her name and doxes the hell out of people and throws around false accusations because she's a piece of shit. Just saying. But she's been caught with her pants down doing that, impersonating me. But people are supposed to take her information as realistic when she can't even hold her shit together to be an adult. I've got new information on the glare. I'm trying to decide how I'm going to handle all this that I just got in. It's a little scary, I have to say, for somebody that's pointing the finger at me and telling me I shouldn't be, like, he should not be in true crime at all. With the violence against women, violence against children, ESA allegations against him. Why is he on here, and why is anybody paying attention to him? I don't know. I really don't know. But obviously he has victims of crime. Guess what? I happen to cover true crime. More will be coming out and being revealed about that. And it's not coming just from Bullhorn Betty's mouth. We have victims. So, not sure how we're going to deal with that, but we will deal with that. And we will deal with whatever backlash his camp wants to say, because, you know, at the end of the day, right, they want to review people, right? Horrible people. But it seems funny that they review people that have turned their whole entire life around. the pieces of POSs that are still doing the dirty, they partner up with? A little odd. Partner up with? Pointing the finger at me for doing something 20 years ago, and you're partnering up with somebody that just did this 6-7 months ago? A year ago? What? Say what? Give me a break. Cut it out. Cut it out. So Gabby's so the letter to Gabby, I do believe, I mean, that looks like Brian's handwriting, guys. I don't know. I don't know. Again, I'm not a writing expert. I don't know. I got and you know what? I think what I do, I'm going to reach out to MGL. I'm going to reach out to MGL because I want to see what she's doing, you know. I want to see what her comments are on the Glarer. Very interested, you know. He's put her through the ringer. We love giving victims their voices, right? So I'm interested. MGL, if you're watching, I may be calling you soon. Pick up that phone. No, I'm just joking. I hope you're doing well, babe. So Gabby, I wish I was right at your side. I wish I could be talking to you right now. I'd be going through every memory we made, getting even more excited. Okay, getting more excited about the future. I can't read this, folks. I'm gonna have to get the transcript. I mean, it's bad. It gets smudged and everything else. For the future. But we've lost our something. I don't know what without you. I can't read this. It's hard to read. I'm gonna have to get the transcript. I have to get the written transcript. This is hard. Let's see if I can read on page 2 what page 2 says. Page 2 looks a little bit clearer. So let's if you were reading Gab's journal. So it is weird. Why is he writing to the rest of the world? Why is he writing to the rest of the world? Why isn't he writing to his mom, to her parents, to her? Like he even titles this Gabby, like it says Gabby. See that? It says Gabby. It looks like it's a letter to her. But he's kind of addressing the whole entire world in this letter. Am I the only one that thinks that? I don't know. Oh, thank you. Brenda, the Alberta Queen. Thank you. Thank you. I love it. I can read a guy that says, you're going to type it up for me. There was one that it was typed out. I don't know where the link was. It was on that CNN post, and I remember pressing it, and it was a paper, and I'm like, oh, I really don't like that paper. I want to print out the stuff. And then I thought, when I looked at it, I'm like, maybe I should have went and got the paper. I went back there to see if it was there, and it wasn't. What? Okay. Let me see if I can. Thank you. Let's see what we got here. There it is. Here it is. Yes, that's it. Thank you. Hold on. Let me get this pulled up. Guidance. Thank you. You are the best. I appreciate it. Oh, you're off to the lake. Thank you, Brenda. You enjoy that lake. You deserve it. Everybody deserves some downtime. Bullhorn Betty's downtime was yesterday. And that's the one thank you. That is the one I was looking for. That's the one I saw. It's the one I saw. There we go. All right, let me move this over here. Can I move it over there? Hold on, let's move this over here. No, over here. Okay, so we got a better, there we go. We got a better representation of that. Let me open that back up. I just pushed it down. I'm still getting used to this whole machine, but we got it. I'm getting it, guys. Folks, it's coming along. I gotta be honest with you. Don't let me fool you. Don't let me fool you. I'm getting the MacBook Pro down. Look how good I'm doing. I've been running this all by myself. All from here. People are like, oh, well, you should have, right? No. Okay, anyways. So it says, Gabby, I wish I was right at your side. I wish I could be talking with you right now. I'd be going through every memory we've made, getting even more excited for the future. I can't live without you. I've lost every day we could have spent together, every holiday. I'll never get to play with, and it says unintelligible again. Let me see if we can figure that out. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Live. Where is that from? I want to try to see if I can read it. I'll never get to play with. See if we can find that in here. I don't know. I can't find it. Oh, because I'm on the wrong page. Okay, here, hold on. Let me see if I can make it out. I'll never get to play with. That's right. It is kind of with that gat. It's like gatamat. I don't know. It's something weird. It starts with a G, it looks like. So we'll say intelligible. Unintelligible. Again, never go hiking with TJ. I loved you more than anything. I can't bear to look at our photos, to recall great memories, because it is why I cannot go on. When I close my eyes, I will think of laying on the roof of the van, falling asleep at the sight of meteor showers at a crystal geyser. I will always love you. If you were reading Gab's journal, so now that was his statement, I guess, to Gabby. Now comes the statement to the rest of the world here, folks. So if you ever were reading Gab's journal, look at the photos from our life together, flipping through old cards. You wouldn't want to live a day without her. Knowing that every day you'll wake up without her, you wouldn't want to wake up. I'm sorry to everyone that this will affect. Gabby was the love of my life, but now I know adored by many. I'm so very sorry to her family, because I loved them. I considered her younger sibling my best friends. I'm sorry to my family. This is a shock to them, as well as a terrible grief. They loved as much, if not more than me. A new daughter to my mother, an aunt to my nephews. Please do not make this harder for them. We don't have to. They made it harder on themselves. And screw your damn parents. Screw them. They're pieces. You know what? What they did to the Petito family, the Schmidt family, is incomprehensible. It is out of the thought of a normal person's mind to do that. It's sick. Anyways, I digress. Rushing back to our car, trying to cross the stream of Spread Creek before it got too dark to see, too cold, I hear a splash and a scream. I could barely see. I couldn't find her for a moment, shouting her name. I found her breathing heavy, grasping my name. She was freezing cold. We had just come from the blazing hot national park in Utah. The temperatures had dropped to freezing, and she was soaking wet. I carried her as far as I could down the stream toward the car, stumbling, exhausted, in shock, when my knees buckled and I couldn't safely carry her. I started a fire and spooned her as close to the heat. But, this doesn't make sense, guys. There are different injuries that are sustained from a willful blunt force trauma injury as opposed to an accidental blunt force trauma injury. That's how these people can tell you whether you were standing up or sitting down when you received the blow, whether you were walking or moving, whether, when somebody is thrown off a balcony, They can tell whether they were thrown off the balcony or jumped. It's because there's different injuries that are sustained by different movements and actions of the body. I believe she was injured. I believe she had blunt force injuries to her head. I believe a fight went out of control, and he thought she was going to get better. She was going to snap out of it, and he realized her injuries were too bad. And then no matter how he looked at it, whether he got her help or not. Now, mind you, our phones all worked out there in Spread Creek. Our phones worked. They did. So, if phones worked, why didn't he call for help? And why would he have to do a merciful killing if he could have called in for help to her? I think it's because she was gone. Like her body may have been moving. She may have been conscious, but I believe the injuries sustained, she was gone. He knew she would never come back the same again. He injured her that bad. What does it say? I carried her as far as I could down the stream toward the car, stumbling and exhausted, in shock when my knees buckled and it was no longer safe for him to carry. I started a fire and spooned with her to the heat. She was so thin, had already been freezing too long. I couldn't at the time realize that I should have started a fire, but I wanted her out of the cold and back to the car. From where I started the fire, I had no idea how far the car might be. Only knew it was across the creek. When I pulled Gabby out of the water, she couldn't tell me she was hurt. She had a small bump on her forehead that eventually got larger. So it sounds like he took her head and smashed it into something. I'm sorry. I just don't believe the fall. I don't believe the fall. No normal person, when there's an accident, doesn't call for help. Or do a merciful thing of wrapping your hands around their neck and taking the life out of them. I'm sorry, that just doesn't sound right to me. It sounds sick. I knew it was across the creek when I pulled Gabby out of the water. She couldn't tell me she was hurt. She had a small bump on her forehead, which eventually got larger. Her feet hurt. Her wrist hurt. She was freezing, shaking violently. She was shaking violently because she was probably having seizures from her head injury. While carrying her, continuously made sounds of pain. Laying next to her, she said little lasps, probably gasps, but it says lasping, between violent shakes, grasping in pain, begging for the end of pain. She would fall asleep and would shake her awake, fearing she would close her eyes if she had a concussion. So he's trying to keep her awake so she doesn't fall asleep and stay asleep. But hey, let me put my hands around your neck and choke the life out of you. So much better. So much merciful than just going to sleep peacefully. Sick. She would fall asleep. Okay, we read that. She would wake up in pain, stating the whole painful cycle again, while furious that I was the one waking her. She wouldn't let me try to cross the creek. Thought like me that this fire would go out in her sleep. She'd freeze. Well, if she was sleeping and you didn't wake her up, how would she know you left her to go call for help? There's none of this makes sense to me. None of it. Trying the creek, I thought the fire would go out in her sleep and she'd freeze. I don't know the extent of Gabby's injuries, only that she was in extreme pain. I ended her life. I thought it was merciful, that this is what she wanted, but now I see all the mistakes I made. Yeah, like keeping your freaking hands off her might have been the first thing you could have done to save her and everybody else's life. I panicked. I was in shock. But from the moment I took away her pain, I knew I couldn't go on without her. I rushed home to spend time I had left with family. I wanted to drive north and let James or TJ kill me. but I wouldn't want them to spend time in jail over my mistake, even though I'm sure they would have liked to. I'm ending my life not because of fear of punishment, but rather I can't stand to live another day without her. I lost our whole future together. Every moment we could have cherished. I'm sorry for everyone's loss. Please do not make life harder for my family. They lost a son and a daughter, the most wonderful girl in the world. Gabby, I'm sorry. I have killed myself by this creek in hopes that animals may tear me apart. Well, you got exactly what you wanted, Brian. You got the easy way out. You know what you should have done? You should have let yourself be injured and feel those animals ripping you apart from limb to limb. That would have been justice, in my opinion. That would have been justice. Tearing me apart, that it may make some of her family happy. Nobody in this family is happy. Nobody. You know what would have made him happy? If he would have picked up the phone and called for help and tried to save her life. Please pick up all my things. Gabby hated people who litter. Just when you don't think Brian can be any more twisted or sick in the head, we read this letter and we realize just how crazy and sick in the head he is. I don't believe a damn thing in that book, but I do believe he wrote it. I do believe he wrote it. I'm looking at the handprint. I mean, again, just my opinion. Just my opinion. No, I got no handwriting expertise whatsoever. But I can tell you the story doesn't make sense on its face. Like, you don't have to be a smart person. I mean, a person with an intelligence of a 5-year-old would know to go to a phone and call for help. Shock or no shock. I remember this one time. Layla was one of my dogs, my Labrador. We had all the company trailers and stuff back there. And one is this 14 or 16 foot dump trailer. It's what my husband used, my ex-husband used to, when he took down trees, he would use that to, take the tree trunk. I mean, some of these tree trunks were, I can't even explain, like 4 feet in diameter, right? And he used this trailer to go take them to the yard to dump the yard waste, the tree. Anyways, this trailer was it wasn't a nice trailer. It was an old beat up trailer, because you can't have a new trailer for things like some companies do. We're definitely not, to take these limbs and stuff, because you never know when one's going to fall just right. It's going to damage it. So this is a solid steel, but it wasn't the prettiest thing. It was a homemade trailer that was really, really sturdy, but it did have some rust. It had some rust on it. It had some things that could injure the dogs. We didn't know at the time. Just make sure you guys know that. We didn't know at the time. And so the dogs were out there, and we had the trailers in the backyard. The work trailers. Well, I came home. One of the work trailers were there. The other trailers are nicer. This is the only ran down one with rust on it and stuff like that. I came home and, I'm cooking dinner, brought the animals in from outside. Vince took care of the animals, as many of you guys know. And he saw a piece of hair sticking up on Layla's side. And so he went over there to comb the hair down. And I'm cooking. And he's like, "Oh my God." And I'm like, "What?" "Oh my God." "What?" "You got to come see this. This is not good. This is not good." I'm like, what could be? Like, the dog's not whining, nothing, acts happy, seems normal. Went over there, and there was a piece of that trailer. Those trailers never were back in that backyard again with those dogs. But apparently there must have been a piece up under the trailer that we didn't see. So when the dogs, climbed under the trailer to lay in the dirt, I'm sure many of you guys can visualize this. When we called, they probably jumped up, and she got stabbed with a piece of rusted metal from underneath that trailer. and didn't just stab it, like it lifted the skin up off her bone. Like the meat was there, but the skin wasn't there. And it was just something about this big, but it was so deep, it wasn't even bleeding. It must have happened earlier in the day before we left for work, or right after we left work or left for work. And when I saw it, I froze. I freaked out. I'm literally pacing around this house in a circle with the phone in my hand and couldn't figure out for the life of me who to call. I was in shock. I had never in my life been that way. But I'm picking up the phone because I have veterinarians in my phone. And I had a friend that actually worked for a veterinarian office, and I was trying to call her. Her name's Carla. And I froze. I couldn't, my brain went blank. I couldn't remember her name. I couldn't remember where she worked. I couldn't even remember, hey, baby, call mom. I froze. I was in shock. I freaked. But it seemed like eternity for that moment. It seemed like complete, utter eternity. It seemed like a half hour went by like that, when it was only like 5 minutes. It was a 5-minute brain fart, right? But it seemed like it was just lasting and lasting and lasting. I'm just pacing, couldn't figure out, but it was only 5 minutes. So I collected myself. I called Carla. She told me to bring the dog up, brought it up. Layla needed staples. She needed staples in there. They had to clean that wound out, and they had to put, close that incision up. It was over $1,000 for that injury to my dog. But the reason why I'm telling you guys this story, you're like, what does this story have to do with Gabby? Because he's talking about shock. You didn't see me go and put my hands around my dog's throat and say, well, I don't know what else to do. That doesn't even come to your mind. You get out of that brain fart and you still make the call to help. I have a loaded gun in this house. Would it have been cheaper to go out there and put a bullet in the dog's head? Of course. But it wasn't the right thing to do. It was an injury. It was an injury where my dog needed help. I got the dog help. People were mad at me. Some people on Facebook, they don't understand. Why did you not protect your dog in the backyard? And how dare you have a trailer? We didn't know the trailer was a danger until this happened. Trailer never went back there again. Never went back there again. Dogs were never around those trailers again. Cost me almost $1,100 to have Layla's shoulder fixed. And I felt bad. And I cried. I felt like a horrible animal mom. I felt horrible. And this guy let the love of his life. I want you guys to hear that. The love of his life lay there in agony and misery, waking her up to make sure she would wake up. Not letting her sleep and making it back to his vehicle to call for help. You know what it sounds like? It sounds like he injured her and was scared to call it in. And when she was still in agony and still hurting, and now this lump that was small is probably engulfed in the front of her head, he's probably thinking, oh crap. Still never calling help for the love of his life. Still never even bother calling help. And then realizes that this is really bad. If he calls for help, he's going to jail. And he chose to put his hands around her throat and take her life away because he couldn't pick up the phone and call for help for her. Because it is my belief he's the reason she sustained those injuries to begin with. Not a slip, not a fall, because a person that slips and falls in front of you, what is your first thing you do? Stay right there. I'm going to get help. Their vehicle was only 1,000 yards away from that location. 1,000 yards. 900 feet. Or not 1,000 yards. Not 1,000 yards. 1,000 feet. 1,000 feet. 300 yards. 1,000 feet. And he couldn't walk back and get help. Now, mind you, he said he had a fire. So I'm pretty sure he could have made it back to his car, called for help, and followed the fire and the flame. You know, he could have seen that fire going on from his truck and been able to get back to her. Yeah, 300 yards approximately. Yeah. I always get it mixed up because his Mustang was 1,500 yards from where his body was. And they say they keep interchanging feet and yards. So they go to feet when it comes to where Gabby was located, but they do yards when it comes to Brian. It just gets confusing. And so, but yes, approximately 300 yards away. Thank you. And you're right. Yeah, you go and find help. You go and find help. So anyways, sorry for taking you guys on that. I know we're going to be talking about the monsters, you know, the monsters that live among us. And I want to get to that because there's a lot of monsters that live among us. Let me take this down. But before we get there, we got one other thing. Did you guys see that JLR went on a search with one of the neighbors there in Rogersville, Tennessee? It was a neighbor of Don Wells and Candace Bly. Didn't know them, but had family there in that area for a really long time and knew the backwoods of that area very well. And I have to say, Jonathan got one of those rare interviews with one of the neighbors that took him out there and really showed him around. Really showed him around about all the nooks and crannies in the wilderness. So I actually spoke to Jonathan and asked him
what this terrain looked like, because
and I actually talked to Jonathan. We're going to have there's nothing I can do about it. As soon as I pop this up, there's going to be an ad that comes in about 4 seconds later, but I am going to pull it up and you guys are going to get to see. I did talk to Jonathan. He gave me permission to use some segments of his video. It's an hour and a half long. If you guys have an opportunity to watch the entire thing, I definitely recommend you do that. You hear their conversation. You get a good lay of the backwoods of Tennessee in this video. And we're going to discuss a comment before we talk about the monsters that live among us. So I'm going to go ahead and play this for you. You're going to hear an advertisement. There's nothing I can do about this. And this is in the middle of about 35 to 36 minutes into this video. So again, if you guys would like to watch its entirety, you can go to JLR's channel, and it's a must-see. Neighbors of Don and Candace take me searching for Summer Wells. Very good. Definitely JLR never, seems to, he always seems to get the good stuff, right? That's what we love about JLR. Always seems to get the good stuff. This is no different. I definitely recommend each one of you guys watching. I'm going to play this. You're going to hear the video, but I'm going to let it run through the advertisement. I'm going to take just a small little break while we watch this, and I'll be back, and we'll be discussing some things related to this before we get to the monsters that live among us.
in the winter, all the leaves go down, right? It's not green.
Yeah, sure. It's actually fine.
Take me to the forest.
Right up here. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. There ain't no wild thing on here.
Yeah, sure. It's actually fine.
Oh, come on. What is that?
He's smart enough.
There we go.
Mom and Dad knows. I don't believe there's nobody around here that would take him.
Exactly. And I went to their house. I mean, they're claiming someone parked at the bottom of the hill when.
So I just want to let you guys know the dog's name is Lucy. And I got to tell you, she was more tired than the guys when they got back.
Up this trail, took her. I mean, come on. You can't see the house from the road.
I never knew. I never seen him. I never knew who was up there. Nothing. So, I know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got a spider on me.
I want you to look at that terrain. Let me go back to it. I want you guys to look at this. Look at this uphill terrain. This is stuff. Let's go back.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm back here.
You see this? It goes straight up. This is the stuff we're talking about right here that makes it rough. This is almost similar, not quite, because even this degree is much easier to maintain and manage than the degree of slope on that Wells Hill. I just wanted to point that out.
Exactly. This is, I'm trying to give people like a perspective of what this terrain looked like, because in the winter, all the leaves go down, right? It's not.
Look
green.
how hard he's having to push up to get up that.
That's what I'm saying, bro. There ain't no wild thing right here. She's smart enough not to. Mom and Dad knows. I don't believe there's nobody around here that would take him.
Exactly. And I went to their house. I mean, they're claiming someone parked at the bottom of the hill, went up this.
Look how he's struggling to get up there. He's getting it, but he's struggling to get up there. He's a small guy. So him and JLR, JLR is a pretty small guy too. I mean, he's tall, but they're slender, they're built. And Jonathan Lee Riches, the last time I spoke to him, well, I shouldn't say the last time I spoke to him, but I knew him years ago or a year ago, whatnot. And he was running almost 7 miles a day. 7 miles a day. That is correct. So they're fit enough to do this. We see somebody like Captain Tim Coop. I don't know if Captain Tim Coop is going to be able to make it up this side where Brandon's walking right now. Just saying.
Trail, took her. I mean, come on. You can't see the house from the road.
I never knew. I never seen him. I never knew who was up there. Nothing. So, I know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Spider man. I got a spider on me. I hate spiders.
Look how much of an angle they're going up that mountain. Look at him. He's going straight up.
Near what city? Like big city.
It's near. I see it in Indiana.
Oh, okay.
But it's a little small town.
When you come here?
My dad was born and raised in Kingsford.
Okay.
And I got family. Like I said, my uncle was about that too.
How old are you? Like 20?
I'm 34.
Oh, 34. I thought you were younger, dude.
No. Well, I live young and happy.
Yeah, I'm 45.
45?
Yep.
Damn, dude, I thought you were.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is good. And I drink here and there. But I don't like watching that video. I don't like thinking about it a whole lot. Because it breaks my heart. And it's like this, people drink, they have this.
And I'm sorry, I have to do this. I think Jonathan Lee Riches might have a little bit of amnesia. I'm not sure. But I think he's just a tad bit older. I think he shaved a year, almost 2 years off his birthday there. We won't tell anybody. We're not going to tell anybody. All right. We want to make sure JLR gets to keep his secret. We want to make sure JLR gets to keep a secret. But I think, well, you know what? Wake up. You're right. He doesn't sound windowed. But you guys don't understand. This man will run. I've seen him. I swear. On Facebook. If you were friends with him on Facebook, you will hear. He will be running full steam down US 19 because he does his 7 miles. And he'll be on Facebook talking to people as he's running down the road. He will go live on Facebook while he's running down the road. I'm telling you, you'll hear people honking because they all know him in the area. And while he's on his Facebook Live, you'll hear people running down the road honking, saying, "Hey, JLR, hey, Jonathan." People know him in that area. But he will be running down that road full steam ahead, chatting on Facebook Live while he's running. Most insane. Like, I would not be able to even say hi. I'll be gasping for air. So no, he does not sound winded. I'm sure that 7-mile run is doing him some good in the backwoods of Tennessee. Just saying. Just saying.
Little, little something here and there, but they're all afraid to talk to the law. Look at this. Look at this trail. I never.
Look at this trail. Whoa.
I've never been up this way.
Wow. So which way's Ben Hill? Like from here?
This way.
And yes, that is a firearm in that man's hand. The reason why he is carrying that is not that he fears for Jonathan Lee Riches. It's because he's in the backwoods. And just the other day, prior to him doing this video, or, taking Jonathan for a walkabout, he had just had to shoot a copperhead. So they're in the backwoods of Tennessee. They can come across coyotes. They can come across other wildlife, but more importantly, if a snake is there, they've got to be able to have a gun there to shoot that snake, because there is some poisonous stuff back in those woods. Bear, Cindy? Yes, absolutely bear. So if you guys are curious as to whether you saw that, yes, you did. That he has to protect himself in those backwoods, because literally there could be anything. There could even be Bigfoot. Yes, this guy said that. There could be Bigfoot back there. No, I'm just joking. But great interview from JLR, great score. And so, some of my mods, they let me know that this was a great interview done by Jonathan. And then they send me, my mods are always up on things here. We have bobcats. I'm sure there's bobcats back there as well. But they sent me comments that were made. Comments. Usually people say comments, but there was one comment. And it's just, I try to give these people and try to say, I think they're good people. They just got overly involved. They got a little too close to the wells. It screwed with their train of thought. They threw all common sense out the window, right? That's what I say. And I believe it. I don't have any problem. Obviously, they got a problem with me. And they got a problem with JLR. But I want to pick apart their comment. And that's cracking cases. Cracking cases never says anything to anybody until they feel somebody did something better than them. And then they got to come out with all the millions of excuses. And we're going to break these excuses down. We're going to break this down, because it just ruffles my feathers that you don't say anything about any other interview. But when you're in the backwoods, now you want to be the know-it-all. And you still think this child just wandered off. Out of all the creators out there in YouTube world, they are the only ones that are sticking by she just wandered off. Even the Wells PIs are looking for a flipping grave. Like, I don't know how to breathe education into your brain. I digress. I still and always will believe that cracking cases, both Cam and Allie got entirely too close to this case, and they lost their way. I believe truly, wholeheartedly, that they got too close. And that's why there's always an arm's length away from me and any persons of interest or anybody that could be perceived as a person of interest in a case, because I don't want to lose my objective. I don't want to lose, I don't want to be biased one way or another. I mean, after I do I'm very opinionated once I get through the facts and I understand what actually happened, then I have no problem saying my piece. But this kind of takes the cake. It really does. Kind of takes the cake a little bit. I'm curious about what the audience thought is here. So let's read this. I'm going to pull this on up. We're going to read this. Pull it on up. See what it has to say. So what Cracking Cases said is, at Jonathan Lee Riches, we actually searched this whole area in October 2021. They actually went out there and searched that entire, you know what? I'm going to call BS. And here's why. Because I just spoke to Richard, one of the neighbors, and he told me that, the PIs asked him to go out and help. Remember that? He was talking to me on camera, and then he asked me to turn the camera off, which I did. His name was Richard, neighbor of, not a conjoining neighbor of the Wells property, but lived down the way. He was the one that told us that he could hear Candace and them hollering for Summer. And if Summer was out there, she would have been able to holler back, because she definitely could hear them, because he could hear them. And he knew if he hollered from his house, they would most likely hear him. That the mountains have ears and eyes, and the sound travels. One thing he told me is they had many people out there for that Saturday, the Saturday before our candlelight vigil. They had a lot of people out there searching. And you know what he said? He said, there is no way that even with the amount of people we have out here searching, which was not adequate enough to cover this area, but somehow cracking cases, somehow is able to cover terrain that law enforcement can't even cover. I mean, kudos to them. Cracking cases must be amazing. We should have cracking cases on every case out in the wilderness, because they can clear all the ground. They can clear the ground by themselves better than 100 of law enforcement officers. But cracking cases got it down. They do. It is amazing to me. And they actually said that. We actually searched this whole area in October 2021. I can tell you, based upon just that video from JLR, that it would probably take a good 6 months of people being out there every single day or longer to clear that entire area. I'm just saying. But hey, you know what? Cracking cases, man, we need you everywhere. Every time there's no need to call TBI, right? They're too slow, right? No need to call TBI. They're too slow. Like, we need cracking cases out there, because they get it. October 2021, they cleared that whole area. Who needs law enforcement? We got cracking cases up in the house. Right? Totally stupid. This is somebody that has an ego issue and is butthurt that Jonathan got to check. And mind you, these are the people that told us how they were associated with EquiSearch the first time I met them. Come to find out, that was a lie. Keep it coming, cracking cases. I've been very easy on you guys. I feel like we started off on the wrong foot, and since then you've been on blubbering and crying like a crybaby on every channel that will have you, talking about Bullhorn Betty. Right? Okay. So they actually cleared this area, cracking cases. I don't know. The last time I saw him and I looked at his shoes, he didn't look like he had hiking shoes on. Right? So let's just keep going with his comment. Let's see how much other untruths. Let's see how many other untruths were written in this one little paragraph, right? Let's just keep going. Let's fact check the cracking cases. We've searched for it a couple days they were able to clear this entire forest in a couple days in October 2021. Man, you guys are lightning fast. Because there's a lot of area back there. So he's acknowledging there's a lot of area back there. A lot of back area there. You will see when you get down to the very end of it, it forks and goes up a steep, almost wash off from the top of the mountains, but on the other side has Ben Hill Road. We found things back here and turned those things over to law enforcement. That law enforcement never acknowledged one time, meaning it was probably not associated with the case cam. Hate to break the news to you. There's a very big name associated with this area in this case, and was the main reason we were there. Who was that big name? Don't want to name drop now. Funny how that happens. I don't understand why they said this area and nobody has been back there to search, because 100% we were there with a private investigator on a search and need a diver to come out and dive some of those ponds that are back in the area. So all this time from October 2021, you still haven't been able to find a diver to go back there and check them swamps, but you covered the whole area. That's what you just said. And you're wondering why, crying like a crybaby. I don't know why they're saying nobody was back there. We were back there. Okay, well, obviously you weren't noticeable and probably didn't cover everything you said, because these people live back there. And they know when somebody's back there in them hollers, monkey effing with their stuff. So if they didn't see you, you might have been in the wrong spot. Just saying. And even if you were out there, I doubt you could dent the area that needs to be searched out there. Just like Richard said that Saturday before the candlelight vigil, when he was out there actually searching the area with the PIs. Just saying. And not only that, those PIs you're talking about, we're looking for a grave, not a child on top of the earth, like as if they walked off and got lost, like you keep stating. So I'm sorry, like, who listens to them anymore? Haven't they lost enough credibility at this point that they don't know what the heck they're doing? They don't know what the heck they're talking about. And the more and more I see them, the more and more I'm starting to think that Cam's like really starting to get out there. He's slower. He's lost so much weight. To me, sounds like he got a little too much money and it's not looking good on him. I don't know if that's the truth. That's my opinion. It's just my opinion. So what does he say? They need to be back there, dive in some of the ponds that are back there in an area that are not seen from Google Map. And so they've been using Google Map to search. Way to go, Cam. Way to go. And just because I didn't put it on YouTube, as to be very careful that it's not the investigation, so that Summer Case doesn't mean people weren't out there. Listen, Cam, of all people, you're the one telling me I need my receipts. So you know what? Mute the videos. Let me see you searching, brother. I want to see those videos of you being in the backwoods back there searching. And I want to see how many hours and how many miles that you've covered. And I'm not talking about on a Google map. I'm talking about on your video. When we go out there and do work, as you saw, Jonathan had that video going for well over, an hour and a half? An hour and a half? So Cam, pony up the receipts. That's all I'm saying. Before you come out here and make yourself look any more foolish than you already have. And I've left you alone, even though you've been crying Bullhorn Betty this whole time. I've left you alone. I ain't trying to make you look like a fool, but man, I can't save you from yourself when you keep posting garbage like this on other people's pages, because you need to pat yourself on the back. You didn't do squat for her. You haven't done squat for her. You haven't even protected her from the monsters. You've enabled the monsters. I think you, at this point, cracking cases, you got a long way to go to prove yourself to a few people around here. Because as far as I'm concerned, you discredited the hell out of yourself, and you looked pretty triggered and a little butthurt that JLR got that beautiful interview and tour. And it wasn't you, brother. It wasn't you. That's all I'm saying. You look butthurt. You look a little jealous. That's all I'm going to say. I digress. I'm done. If you guys want to watch that that video, go to JLR. It's an hour and a half. So, and there's a few advertisements in there, but you know, he did a great job. He deserves you guys watching those advertisements because he did a great job. Nobody's gotten this kind of footage and brought it to you guys. So go over there, support JLR, watch the video, watch the ads, watch it from beginning to end. I think you'll get a lot of information out of it. And it was great. He did a great job. And I got to tell you, by the end of that video, it sounded like out of all of them, poor little Lucy was the most overheated and exhausted out of all three of them. I felt so bad for that dog. Sorry. That dog was killing me. I was laughing. I hope they gave that dog some ice water. I really do. That poor little dog. Not a little dog, but what a sweet dog. Did you notice that dog, every time her owner stopped, she'd stop behind him? She was just what a great dog. What a great dog. And I bet you they felt good knowing that they had such a wonderful dog help protect them from all the crazy things that could go on in the backwoods of Tennessee. So Jonathan Lee Riches survived truly the backwoods of them hollers. Yeah, sweet Lucy. That dog was cute. I would love to have a Lucy here. I have to be honest. All right, so we got through that. I just wanted to show you guys that. So now we're going to get into our monsters live among us. Oh no! I was hoping that wasn't the case, Emma. Lord have mercy. We need to send some healing prayers. Everybody, let's just say a little prayer for Emma that she gets better. She's been really struggling for the last few months. You know, we keep being hopeful that she's out of the hospital and doing better. And every time we turn around, she keeps going back to the hospital. And we just want to give her a big old Bullhorn Betty hug and just tell her that we love her and care for her and hope, she's uplifted. Thank you, honey. We're doing great. You don't worry about us. We need you getting better. You need to be better. That's what we want for you. We want you to be better. Yeah, you got some love coming for you. Yeah, it's sad. There was a few of them. Like TM never went to one. Laura, the one that just thinks she is just, her crap doesn't stink. Voodoo woman making candles. I wouldn't touch those candles. I don't know what kind of horrible karma is on those candles. Seriously. I would never buy a candle from that woman. I don't know if she's casting spells on them. I don't care. I don't trust that woman. She looks like a witch. Sorry. You guys may like her or hate her. I don't care. I always tell everybody, I don't like getting into peeing contests with other creators, but seeing her run her trap on WFLA yesterday. And I, again, never talk about the woman because I could care less about her. Like, I seriously could care less about this woman. She thinks her crap doesn't stink, but she doesn't even realize she's making her own self irrelevant with all this drama. But, you cannot build channels on hate. You just can't. Yeah. She's a dangerous, even people like what she did to MGL was bad. And, you guys have watched me and MGL have our spats and whatever, but you never heard me coming out here just creating a live stream to attack MGL. Never did that. I never, ever did that. I don't do that. Laura not only tried to steal her subs and her, what is it called? I don't know. There's another thing that they have, and I can't remember what it is, but she literally tried to destroy MGL. She tried to take MGL out. And I've been a firm believer, if somebody will do that to you once, they will do that to you again. And so I have I keep myself guarded. I have trust issues, especially when it comes to these streets of YouTube. And that is one woman that I would never tell a secret to. I would never even be nice to. I just want her to stay the hell away from me. Stay on your own side of the road. Your voodoo candles, keep them. I don't want that evil karma coming into my home. I don't want that evil vibe in my home. I really don't. I want something like Dolly soap to scrub all that ugly away. Just saying. Patreon. Thank you. Trying to steal her Patreon. Like, you can have fights on YouTube without trying to destroy somebody. You can disagree with somebody without trying to destroy them. That's not what it is on the streets of YouTube. So, Laura, I saw you yesterday. Miss Laura, you are a disgusting individual that's made money and sold your voodoo candles off the back of summer wells and couldn't even go to a vigil. Couldn't even, but you sure bitched about everybody putting their time, tears, and sweat in one. These are the things that the audience sees. Let me just tell you and break it down for you. The reason why you're becoming irrelevant, because they see how lazy you are. You are just lazy. And nobody gives a damn about your damn candles. So quit bitching about Dolly selling all of his $14 bars of soap and nobody buying your camel. Jeez, because nobody likes your fucking candles. Excuse my language. All the pent up animosity I've been harboring, language of letting go. I'm letting it go. Right? Every now and again, I'm allowed to be one and done, right? That was the rule that was given to me back when we had our team, we were all doing all these things together and I was wanting to address a few things. Mom told me, Libby's mom, she told me, she's like, you can address it, but one and done. You address it one time, and you're done. This is my one-time addressing. Laura, you suck. I'm done. Okay, getting on with the some of the most despicable people. Now, I got to tell you, she is on my thumbnail. Let me pull this up if I can. Give me just a second. I got to show you this woman. I don't know why it went away. Hold on, let me try it again. There it is. Look at that woman. Can you explain to me, would anybody trust your child in the care of this woman? Look at those blisters on her lips. This woman is a despicable woman that was in care of a child with a trachea tube and had been getting high on substances, but injecting them for days. And I'm still, she's now in jail for the death of this child that was in her care, that she basically suffocated because she didn't clean the trachea out and her hair got wrapped up in the trachea tube and the child could no longer breathe and met its demise. Can't remember if it's a female or male, either way. But you can't tell me as a parent, when this thing here walks up to your door, that there's probably going to be a problem. I would never let something that looked like that care for my disabled child. I don't know what the culpability of the parents are, but if it was law enforcement, if it was, law enforcement may need to look into the parents or the agency that sent this woman to that house, because she was up for 4 days on substances. Sick and sad. A child lost her life to something that looked like that, an animal. Look at those blisters on her lips. Look at her eyes. This woman had no business caring for a child, let alone a disabled child that needed a breathing tube. So let's read. Actually, I'm going to go ahead here because I'm not really a New York Post type of person. So, night nurse accused of killing a 3-year-old while high on substances. This happened in Michigan. A home health care nurse. So she was a home health care nurse. I want to know which home health care agency sent that for a 3-year-old child. That is scary. If I saw somebody like that walking into my home to take care of my child, I would say, no, you're not. And I want a drug test. Judith Sobol has been charged with second-degree murder and possession of substances. Police responded to a call from a home in Colma, Michigan. If I'm saying that correctly, I apologize if I butchered that name. Officers found the parents of the toddlers who suffer from severe medical issues trying to revive her. So it sounds like not only was it okay, so the toddler suffers from severe medical issues. They were trying to revive her. Sobol, who was hired as a 3-year-old night nurse, was incoherent and mumbling next to the child. Reports say that the toddler's breathing tube was detached from her and tangled in the nurse/caretaker's hair. Sobol allegedly told police that the tube may have been disconnected while she was cleaning, and she was thinking she passed out before reinserting it. Colma Township Police Chief Wes, I'm not even going to try to say that last name, says that Sobol was under the influence of drugs at the time. Through an investigation, the officers found out that the registered nurse, she was a registered nurse, was supposed to care for the child throughout the night. After the investigation was completed, we determined that she was high on substances and should not have been caring for that child. Well, no shit. Probable cause documents state that Sobol confessed that she was not in the right state of mind to be at work and should have never come to work at all. Yeah, a child might still be alive. She was also in possession of substances and other paraphernalia. Sobol was allegedly admitted to shooting substances up for the last 4 days. This is just horrific. This is one of the monsters that live among us here and around the world. This is not unique to Michigan. It's not unique to the United States of America, and it's not unique around the world. She looked like a hot mess. Who would allow this? Who would allow this to watch your severely disabled son or daughter? Who? Monsters that live among us. It's just sad. Give me just a second, folks. It's just sad. So, monster number 2. Monster number 2. If you guys did not watch Dolly, he breaks these down a lot better on his nightly live. Justin with Justice for All has also talked about some of these cases, and I'm just reiterating, they have some really good breakdowns. If you guys haven't seen either Dolly or Justin with Justice for All, I definitely think you guys should go over there and get a full picture of what truly happened here. Judith Sobol, real despicable woman, an RN, somebody that, worked their hiney off to become an RN, a registered nurse, just to have it snuffed away and be thrown in jail because of drugs is really sad. I know, addiction affects the rich as well as it does the poor, whether you're college educated or not. But at some point, if you're struggling with substances, please get help today, because you could be harm to yourself or to somebody else. And in this case, she was harm to a 3-year-old child that will never get to live another day on this beautiful earth again. And there's a lot of grief that goes along with that. So, despicable person number 2 is none other than Darla Luke. There she is. This is a Mississippi mom accused in connection with a 2-month-old son's demise after this child was removed from her custody weeks or months prior to, was just given custody. And I still can't figure out how she was given custody, because she was living with a bunch of people in an Econo Lodge or similar type of hotel motel situation with all these kids. Apparently, she has quite a few children. This is not her first child. Most likely won't be the last child unless she stays in jail for a little while, and then she might be a Susan Smith type of lady that she going to start looking at them the male guards, right? Don't know what it's going to be. Don't know what it's going to be. All I can tell you, she's got a lot of youngins. So this Mississippi woman was arrested and charged with child neglect after her infant son was found dead at a hotel. This is very sad, guys. You know, I know our hearts bleed for these children, but this was one that apparently she went to sleep. And I got to tell you a story. And if Mama Bullhorn is in here, text me. Don't write in here that you're in the chat. Kind of want people knowing who you are. But Mama Bullhorn, when I was a little girl, I can't remember. I don't remember if it was my Uncle Johnny Mac. I think it was my Uncle Johnny Mac. I think he was the one that was married to a really hefty woman, quite large woman. And she had just had a baby. And they were laying in bed. And I think she rolled over on her baby in the middle of the night and killed the baby, suffocated. Pure accident. This is the reason why they tell you do not sleep. Now, mind you, this was back in the 70s, maybe the early 80s when this particular scenario had happened, And here we are all these years later, and people have been taught over and over again, you do not put infant children in bed with you. And if you do, you do not sleep with them. If you need to, you have a bassinet or something that's next to the bed. If you get tired, you put that child in that bassinet, because things can happen where you or someone else can roll on that child and not feel them and suffocate them unintentionally. Well, Espresso, the reason why my mom is hidden in this chat is because the attacks that me and my family have undergone. That's why. And she has a right to participate on my channel if she so chooses, any way she so chooses to. Period. Right? You're actually anonymous in this chat by using the name Espresso3, right? That's why. Because I choose for my mom to be anonymous. I choose for my mom to be anonymous. And as the content creator and the chat owner, guess what? I supersede anybody's wishes. And as the choice I have, trust me, my mom would be nothing but fun. And I absolutely forbid her to expose her identity. Because what my mom's went through and what my entire family has went through because of some people out here on YouTube, she has a right to privacy. She has a right to privacy. I come under immense bullying in every aspect of my life anymore because I am on YouTube, and I have accepted that, and I've expended a lot of money to fight these issues, but my mom doesn't need to. So, my choice. How's that? But, that happened when I was growing up. And so I understand that. But, since then, because of those types of things happening in the past, they make things like don't sleep with your children. Like everybody knows not to sleep with a child in the bed. Now, sometimes it's hard, right? You're nursing a baby, a new baby, and you're so tired because you got to wake up every hour on the hour to nurse this child. And you unintentionally fall asleep, and it's an accident. You didn't mean to fall asleep, but you did. and you're doing everything right. I think the issue here is how many people were actually living in that hotel room. It was not a safe environment for children. She may have lied to the courts as to why she got her child back. We don't know. We only know what we're reading here. Let's just keep going. When they arrived, police found the lifeless body of a 2-month-old boy. People confirmed that Darla Luke had been charged with a felony child neglect. According to Central Louisiana Now, Hinds County Coroner Sharon Grissom Stewart said that the infant may have died from asphyxiation due to a co-sleeping situation. The state medical examiner's office will perform an autopsy and determine the cause of death. So she's not being charged with the child's death unless they find suspicious circumstances. What she's being charged with is neglect because she put this child in that position, which ended up, losing its life. Luke, 34, has 8 other children living in a hotel. Apparently, she does not know how to keep them legs closed. 8 children she can't take care of, living in a hotel room. Even if she was just living in the hotel room with just her 8 children, that's entirely too many. What is she doing with all the money she's getting from the state so they don't have to live like that? Luke remains in jail on a $25,000 bond. She has not entered a plea, and online records do not reflect an attorney authorized to speak on her behalf. The case is still under investigation. So another monster out there that walk among us. This is a woman that keeps having children but can't figure out how to take care of her own children, and has now, because of her lifestyle, one of her children has lost his life and will never be heard or seen from again. So sad. Another child that never had a chance because of who they were born with. Espresso, if you don't like the rules, then get out. I mean, seriously, it's my mother. And you have no idea what we went through. And you, I doubt, has ever had to deal with the type of crap me and my family have had to deal with. And if you don't like the rules, this is not up for determination. It's not even up for debate. It's not up for debate with you. If you don't like the rules, get the hell out. It's just that simple. You will not put my mother in jeopardy because you're acting like a child. It will not happen. I like you. You've been in here fine, but this is not something I'm going to debate with you. You are an audience member. This is my channel. If you do not like the rules of this channel, get on with your day and get the hell out. People don't like it, don't like it. But you know what? It's people like you and probably some of your friends that have caused this situation where I have no choice but to make my mother anonymous. But I will not debate this topic with you. This is my mother. And you guys have watched what YouTube has done to me. I refuse to have it done to my mother. And if you can't understand that, I don't even want you here. You get it? So hopefully we don't have this conversation again and we can, be happy and chat it up, Espresso. But don't question my rules on my own channel. If you don't like them, make your own channel. Create your own channel with your own rules. And when you go through what I went through, then you can tell everybody why your mama is anonymous. And actually, at the end of the day, you're freaking anonymous too. Who the hell knows who you are? Quit bitching. Cut it out. Exactly. Thank you. Because they're idiots. And if you guys want to block them, my mods, I don't block people in here. My mods do. Somebody's getting irritating, time them out, give them a warning. If they continue to do it, block them. They'll be unblocked in the next 3 or 4 months. So, Hey, you never know. You never know. Now, here is another monster that lives among us, and she's so flippin' young and pure evil and looks evil. So here's the monster. You guys will not believe it. There she is. That's her arrest photo. She has no emotion on her face. And you probably are wondering, what in the world did she do? She stabbed a 14-year-old girl to death over an argument at a Walmart. They wanted to fight. 16-year-old brought a knife to a fight with a 14-year-old. And look at her face. She just doesn't care. She doesn't seem like she has a care. I don't think she understands what she has done. I could be wrong. I could absolutely 100% be wrong. A 16-year-old girl has been charged with stabbing of a 14-year-old girl outside the Dickerson Pike Walmart. Metro Police reported Isabel Jackson, 16, was charged with criminal homicide for Monday's night stabbing of Malia, M-A-L-I-A. I don't know how to say that. I think it's Malia Powell, 14, in the parking lot of Walmart near the bus stop. According to a release, the two groups, one with Powell and the other one with Jackson, met inside the store, briefly exchanging words, and went their separate ways. Jackson groups left the store and headed for the bus stop. Powell's group left the store, and Powell got into a car that went to the area where Jackson's group was walking. So even though this sounds to me like Powell may have been the instigator of this fight, but again, you don't bring weapons out. You know, sometimes it's just easier to take the whipping, right? Sometimes it just, sometimes you just need these, man. Why are you bringing weapons to a fight? Doesn't matter whether it's a knife or a gun. Leave them at home. If you can fight. Kids do that. It's part of growth. It's part of growing, whether people like to hear it or not. Getting into a physical altercation at a young age is not uncommon. It is for the parents to teach their child, you don't use violence to solve your problems. But the idea that kids are just not going to fight with each other or have physical altercations, it's like the child touching the hot stove. They will touch the hot stove until they're taught that the stove is hot and not to touch it. These children are still, even 16 or 17, they are still trying and learning. Their brains aren't fully developed yet, no matter how mature they may seem. And so this is another one. I heard Uncle Eddie is in the house. Uncle Eddie, I wish you would just leave this chat alone. You have no good use here, but we will accept you. Obviously, you need attention a couple times a day, because you can't go find a friend to play with. That's all right. Uncle Eddie's now famous in the Bullhorn Betty channel. Taking chicken poop and turning it into chicken soup. That's what we do with Uncle Eddie. But anyways, it's sad. It is sad that this girl has lost her life over an altercation that she just thought she was going to, be Betty Badass, roll up on a 16-year-old in a car and continue the fight. And 16-year-old brings out a knife because she couldn't handle getting her butt kicked and she wanted to protect herself. Well, now she's in jail. And this is going to affect her for the rest of her life. It wasn't worth it. The family of this 14-year-old girl is going to be devastated for the rest of their life. It is just not worth it. It is just not worth it. So, we need to teach our children that sometimes you're just going to have to learn to take an ass kicking. I'm sorry. It's part of life. Whether we like it or not, we can't keep bringing guns and knives to a fist fight. Sometimes if you're going to deal it, you better learn how to take it. When I was younger, we did have altercations. They didn't get in trouble like they do now. You get into a fight, you get called into the principal's office and go to detention. Now they're pulling, 5-year-olds out of school and arresting them. Most insane thing I've ever heard of in my life. It's part of the process. It's part of the growth process, whether we like it or not. The analogy, boys will be boys, is just that, but so will girls. Girls will be girls. And girls pull hair and say nasty comments in school. It's our but you know what? We see all this stuff breaking out on YouTube, and a lot of these people that bring this hate on YouTube are parents of these children. They're parents of these children, and they're showing them, they're teaching their children to be this hateful and nasty. It's true. Could the games, could these games that people are indoctrinating themselves with and brainwashing themselves with, like these violent games on their PlayStations and otherwise, could this be the reason why we're having such craziness of these young children and teenagers realizing that when you kill somebody, it's permanent and there's real life consequences? It's not like your video game where once you die, you come right back. It's not like that. It's final. I don't know if I could ever live with myself being a murderer at 16 years old. I really don't. Sad. But still not the worst of the worst monsters that live among us. We have grandma. We have grandma that likes to be a horrible grandma. Grandma charged with murder after a girl found dead in trash can. So not only did you hurt her, not only did you kill her, that wasn't enough. Throwing her out like garbage is what takes the cake for me. That's what takes the cake for me. Her life mattered. Not only did you beat her, not only did you kill her, but you threw her away no different than you did her poopy diaper. You are one sick lady. One sick lady. An Oklahoma grandmother is facing murder charges after her 3-year-old granddaughter was found dead in a trash can. According to the press release from the Oakland City Police Department, officers arrived at the home of Becky Ann Rearland, 60 years old. It's probably one of the people that no, I'm just joking. On Tuesday afternoon, upon arrival, officers were told there was a deceased child at the residence. A press release stated the officers found the body of a 3-year-old Riley Nolan in a residential trash receptacle at the home. The child had obvious signs of trauma to her little body. So cruel. So clearly she was taken out of a home because of parents and put in the care of this despicable woman. And she lost it on her. That's the only way to explain it. You know what? They teach you things like if things get so intense, just walk out the door, right? Put your child in a safe spot, in a crib, somewhere where they can't get out, and just walk out the door. Let them scream. Screaming and crying is not abuse. Putting your hands on them to stop that screaming and crying could be. So sometimes it's just when you can't handle anymore, take a walk. Call your neighbor and say, hey, can you please watch my child, my grandchild, 5-10 minutes? I can't imagine one person saying no. You know, if you're the only person watching that child, get with the resources so you can have respite care. So somebody can come in and take care of your child just for you to go out and get your hair done. Or for you to go out and just take a break. Go to the the gym and get some of that energy out. But it's sad. These are the types of people, and this is happening every time we turn on, it's our children are under attack. Our children are under attack. But these are the monsters that live among us. And there she is. Monsters that live among us in Oklahoma rather. But still not the worst of the worst yet, folks. Guys, I'm going to tell you before we move on, this is a trigger warning. If you guys are very sensitive to these types of topics, I'm going to ask you that you might want to go ahead and power the live down for yourselves right now, because this next one is really hard. These are hard. This next one is going to be very, very, very hard. So again, I'm not going to throw a trigger warning up there. We're all adults here. This channel is not for a young audience. And so these are the types of topics that we cover on this channel. So I'm not going to throw trigger warning up. I don't do that here because this is an adult channel. But this next one is really, really bad. A Texas dad allegedly kills 8-week-old daughter by squeezing her head and suffocating her with a pillow. These are the monsters that walk among us, that live among us. These are what makes me have trust issues in our society these days. There are just some really gross and despicable people. Many of you guys know my story. I've tried for many years to have children, and I can't. And I struggle with that. I struggle with that because I never understood why God would give these horrible parents children. And I would have a lovely and a loving home for a child, and I can't bear one. And it's been hard for, I gotta say, I think, when you're young and, you kind of wish and hope one day you'll have that experience, you'll have that connection, you'll have that. And then when you don't, it breaks your heart. And then when you look into this, it's like, why did God grant them with children? And somebody like me, he didn't. I don't know. I know things happen for a reason. It is what it is. But it's hard to watch this. I keep thinking of how wonderful it would be to have a child, let alone having an 8-week-old baby in the house with a scream. It'd just be that I don't know. I almost would love it. I almost would love hearing that scream. Like I got those when I had my grandchildren, my granddaughter, or my daughter rather, my stepdaughter, she would need a break. And we'd have those babies, we'd have those babies for a weekend or, sometimes a week, depending on where she was going. And, sometimes those little cries in the middle of the night were beautiful music, A lot of people don't understand that except parents, And as we watch the children grow and they grow like with a blink of their eye, you always just wish that they were still back there driving you nuts, crying in the middle of the night, needing to be fed because they grow so big so quick. The next thing you know, they're older and you're not as cool as you once were. And, those are things that I miss. And so this is really a sad story. So 29-year-old man was arrested for allegedly killing his newborn daughter in what police described as severe child abuse. According to a statement on June 14th, 10 a.m., Abilene Police Department officers and detectives responded to a suspicious death at Hendricks Medical Center. They learned that the infant's mother brought her into the hospital and began investigating. The same day, the child's father, Raymond Medina, was arrested on unrelated family violence warrants. Abilene police said they kept Medina in custody while looking into his daughter's death. Courtroom documents cited by this TV report, Medina was trying to get his daughter to stop crying, which he did by allegedly putting her face down on the couch and spanking her. That's going to make a child stop crying. An 8-week-old child, you think spanking is going to... What is wrong with people? Ugh, this is awful. And spanking her. He reportedly covered her body with pillow in order to muffle her screams. The documents allege Medina repeatedly put the pillow over his daughter's face 5 or 6 times and squeezed part of her body, including her head. I can't read anymore. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I just can't do it. So there are monsters that live among us, folks. If you guys didn't realize that, oops, hold on. Let me get back to you guys. There are monsters that live among us. Again, this Medina character is one of those despicable people that live among us. So, that up here. There we go. And that is all we have today. Monsters live among us. So these are only 3 being showcased here. Again, I don't know how our country dropped the ball, how law enforcement dropped the ball. I mean, I can kind of understand this chick here, but these other 2 were totally preventable. This was the wild card, in my opinion. I'm just saying, she was the wild card. So I'm going to, we're at the top of the 2 hours. We're doing good on our lives today, guys, keeping with the time constraints and everything else about this. But you know what? I did promise you guys. I would open the phone line so you guys can discuss these cases, of these people that are monsters that live among us. And I'm trying to get there. If I can, did I shut that one down? Ugh. Well, it looks like I may have shut. All right, so the phones are off right now. I've got to turn them on, which I'm doing as we speak. And then we'll take some calls just for a little bit. I'm probably not going to go crazy and have another hour of phone calls, to be honest with you. With this being the second segment, and that's been rolling deep for the last 6 hours. And by the time this ends, it's going to be closer to 7 hours. I am going to limit calls to 5 minutes only about these cases. We are discussing Judith Sobol, Darla Luke, Isabel Jackson. We have that despicable man, grandma, and the despicable man that likes to spank 8-week-old children. So if you have any comments to say about any of these cases. Now, if you have questions or anything about Summer Wells, Gabby Petito, everything's on the table, folks. So call in and let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys hear, and we'll just keep talking here as we go through this. I got to tell you, the more I do this, the more disgusting the world seems to me at times. All the people that come here are for the most part, typically good people. Even the trolls, at the end of the day, they're anonymous. They have a life. They probably have loving families and are, they're loved by their families and things like that. Even our favorite Uncle Eddie, he probably is a decent person in the real life. He's just an animal on the streets of YouTube. But there are some real concerning people out there in this country, and you guys have got to be vigilant. We need to have a class on signs. What are the signs of abuse, or how somebody acts that's being abused, whether they're children, because children act differently than adults. Their signs are going to be a little bit different. They're going to be hard to talk to, a little more timid, so I'm curious about that. Wow. That's so horrible. I don't understand why these people are so, how can you, I don't understand how you can be so angry with something so precious. I mean, I get it, them screaming constantly, you're sleep deprived, but who does that? I mean, just extreme behavior. I personally just don't get it. I really just don't get it. Just extreme behavior just doesn't, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I really don't. Uh-oh. I'm gonna have to mute you guys for a second. Hold on, let me just call and then I'll see. Hold on. I'm gonna mute. Don't call the phones yet. Sorry about that, guys. I might be traveling. I'm going to be going. I'm planning a trip in one area, and I just got a call from guess who? Chronicles of Olivia, asking me to go to a state with her. I'm like, ooh, I love it. Get rejuvenated, get her inspired again. Heck to the yeah. All right, so I'm going to call you back now. 0181. I'm sorry I hung up on you. I had to because Olivia was calling in. But if you want to call back, call back. Last number's 0181. Call back and I'll answer the phone. Sorry about that. I did not mean to do that. Just one of those things that came in. Thank you. This is Betty.
Hey, Betty.
Hey.
Bitch and Tanya.
How you doing, bitch and Tanya?
Good. I see you're doing well. You look great today.
Thank you. What do you think about these monsters that live among us?
Man, you know what? People are raised in so many different ways. It is like you said about the noticing what's going on with people. It's hard to tell sometimes, in families how people are so different and everything. But when you see the big signs, you know when a child's in trouble and you got to make a call.
Yeah. Got to make the call. And that's what pisses me off about these stupid YouTube streets making illegitimate reports on people that are not abusing their children just to kick up a fuss. Taking resources away from cases like this where people need to be out doing research. It's just sad.
Yeah. There needs to be more funding for this kind of thing. It's becoming madness. This is just becoming bigger and bigger and bigger.
I agree.
The world's off balance. Everybody's going nuts in this economy and how the world is changing, and I get all that. People are losing their shit. Look, wow.
Yeah.
This is just.
But this is just a roll of just bad people, and this is across the country. Like we have somebody in Mississippi, somebody in Texas, somebody in Louisiana, somebody here, somebody there.
It's not just our country either. It's all over the world.
All over the world. All over the world. But I find it funny because even though it's all over the world, I don't know if it's because they handle it better, because even people all over the world are talking about the stuff in the United States. It makes me wonder, are we the only crazy country in this world?
Yeah, well, we are. Yeah, probably. We probably are. Yeah, we all have our freedom, and we just fly by the seat of our pants over here in America.
Yeah.
America.
Best country, best country in the world, but man, we got our problems, and this attack on our children's got to stop.
What happened? What is it that made these people into the monsters? Were they never treated or taught the right thing? Is it something in their brain? Is it something in society? What is happening? Is it in the water?
I hate saying it, but I think it's parents that were on drugs when they had the kids. We got to remember there was a lot. 60s, 70s, 80s, big pharma.
I remember a case about a girl that was locked in the closet all the time while her mom went to go get drugs and get high. And this is a long time ago. It's like in the 80s, and that was like I was like, holy. All these kids left alone all the time. These little tiny kids, not nobody was 13 or whatever. It was just, and now it's just, you hear it every day. It used to be very rare. Now you hear it. It's atrocious. But
and not only that, but even back in the day, there was still a lot of alcohol.
Children need to know that everything that happens is not their fault.
Yeah.
Children need to know that it's not what's happening to them isn't their fault and isn't because of them, and that's what is tough for me.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the stuff have biological changes that people didn't know. You know, people were out there doing, you know, back in the 60s at the hemp fest and stuff like that, doing some,
Sure.
And a lot of people that couldn't afford the substances went to alcohol. It was a cheaper buzz, you know, and they were pregnant, drinking, you know, did that have, you know, long lasting effects on the brain? Yeah.
Right. And LSD was big way back then too, you know, I mean, shoot, the hippie season, everybody, you know, it's, you know, drugs have always been in our
society, you know, at a certain point. Yeah. Even before drugs. I mean, alcohol is a drug. People.
Right. I include alcohol in that. Yeah. You know, it's big money, and it's just like the entertainment business, football, music, everything is all it's all about the money. You know, it doesn't have anything to do with the people. But with the children, I just feel so bad for, you know, and I feel bad for the monsters kind of, because they had to have something happen to them to make them that way. You know, I understand you just snap and do certain things, but no, most people don't do that. You know, we have control over ourselves, whereas we don't push that far. And,
you know, there's been times, I gotta say, you know, where the grandchild was colicky and just, you know, was left here and like I'm ready to beat my head against the wall. And what do? You soothe them the best you can.
I raised kids, whether they're itty bitty and yelling screaming, or they're 13 and being a little snot nosed, you know, it's hard to deal with sometimes. You know, you want to spank that kid, but you know, we don't spank anymore. Yeah, I got spanked when I was little.
Oh, I advocate for spanking. I'm not with this. You know, you treat a little kid like an adult and have them. No. I am an advocate for proper discipline. You know, and I've always been taught that when you spank your child from a place of love, not anger, which means basically you explain to them that I'm about to spank you. I want to let you know I love you, but I'm about to spank you because what you did was wrong and you need to learn your lesson. And it's not an abusive spank. It's a spank from a place of love. People's like, how can you spank a child from a place of love? There's a way, because you don't want them hurting themselves, and you need to discipline your child. But you can't do it angry. You can't do it when you're angry, because I think that when you're angry, it has the potential of going too far.
You can do wrong things. Yeah, just like any fight with anybody, when you say what you don't want really need to say, or things like that happen. You know, it happens. I understand that, but why is it happening so much? It's just so rampant right now.
I think it's been happening a long time, but I think social media has just, you know, because, and I think this is the problem with law enforcement. You know, the law enforcement has been able to control what goes out on mainstream media. You know, they, you know, mainstream media has, you know, ethical standards, and the ethical standards, not in the sense that we don't do things ethically, but in the ethical standards that if law enforcement doesn't make it known, whether it's known or not, they won't say it. On the streets of YouTube, if something's known, we're going to say it. And so there's, you know, I think
we're trying to put puzzles together. Yeah. It's a puzzle, you know, and none of it makes sense. A lot of these stories, it doesn't make sense because it can't make sense to our brain. It's just not going to, because we were not in that situation. We were not in that temperament of doing whatever that person did, whether it be because of drugs, alcohol, or just madness, you know, temporary insanity, whatever you want to call it, you know, because it does happen. And, you know, in our world right now, with the changes that are going on for people, you know, people snap, you know, it does happen.
It does happen. And if you have the propensity of snapping, then you should know better than to leave yourself around a young child unattended.
Reach out for help. There's many, like you just said earlier, you know, there's many people that would help you. Yeah. Many people that would give that a caring home, or even just temporarily to
and always
you get your shit together.
In this day and age, back when I was growing up, you didn't have, you know, safety areas where you could just, if you were a young, like say a teenager that had a baby that hid the pregnancy from her parents and don't want the baby, you can literally take it to a fire station and be absolved of any wrongdoing. Not have any problems, keep that pregnancy a secret, do whatever you need to do. And they have those now where they didn't have them when I was young.
Anonymous. The fires, everybody has cameras now, so that you're not really anonymous when you do that anymore.
Yeah, but they don't report that, you know, unless people know that it happened, they don't report it. So nobody would ever know.
they kind of keep it a hush hush kind of thing, probably. But I don't connotation of that still. It's kind of weird, but I agree with it. I mean, there's so many places you could go.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have any family or friends or anything, you can call. There's all kinds of 800 numbers. I live in New York. We have all kinds of mental health places that you can call, hotlines, and get a hold of people, and all kinds of programs for people here in New York where I live.
There's no excuse for what's going on. The assault our young children are faced against, and it's despicable what's being done to them.
It is, Betty.
Yeah.
It is, Andrea. I agree.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that these monsters can't feel the real stuff that we all feel, like love and compassion and reality of what other people are going through because of your situation, being in a family of some or whatever.
Yeah.
It's.
But we had a blended family, and not only that, but when I was married to my husband, with the grandkids and stuff, we had his ex, when we went out to the beaches, she was included. When we had Thanksgiving dinner, they were invited over here. We did not, put our.
Separate, right?
Absolutely not.
We have, my daughters have different baby daddies. They're always invited to family things, and all that. We try to keep them involved as much as we can, I mean. We are not. We put the fun in dysfunctional, though. But,
right.
But we're not quite monsters. Which is good,
no. And people make mistakes every day, and children do get hurt. But you know what they do? They pick up the phone. They call for help. They deal with it. If they have to have a CPS thing, and it's a one time. I wasn't looking, and something happened. You're safe. Right. You just want to make sure that, that things don't continuously happen.
Faster than you think. 5-year-olds move.
Yeah.
I got 7-year-olds right now. They were 5, just a little. I can't keep up with them girls.
I know, but they grow up quick, don't they? They go from little baby in your arm to mouthy little brats. That want to throw punches at their sister and bite their sister's face. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Right? Yeah, especially if they're twins too. Me and my brother aren't twins, but we did the same thing.
I about freaked. Like I was here.
My granddaughter, 25 this year.
Yeah.
And the youngest is 7 right now.
I remember I was here, and my granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter, and the middle granddaughter, they got into a fight. We lay them down for naps during the day. Kids have to have naps. And I can't because I shut the door, because usually if you shut the door, you turn the TV on, have it timed. So after half an hour, it turns off. So they were required to sleep or at least rest their bodies. Yeah. And all of a sudden, I just hear this horrible scream. Like I'm in the kitchen, the door is just right behind me, and I'm hearing this horrible scream. I'm running in there. One's got a goose egg on the top of their head. The other one's got this big bite mark. And I'm like, what are you doing with each other? Like, no nap time now. Now you go stand in this corner, you go stand in that corner, and it's like, and then after you're done standing for the next half hour, you're going back to bed and we're going to try this again.
They usually would fall asleep in the corner.
I know. Well, that's what I was hoping for.
15 minutes later, they're sitting on the floor with their heads down,
That my grandbabies are stubborn. They're stubborn.
Yeah. Yeah, my youngest is 7 too.
Yep. So, anyways, it was great talking to you.
Right on. You have a great day,
You too.
And my heart goes out to everybody. I try to help when I can.
Absolutely, that's all we can do. Well, God bless you.
Take care.
Bye-bye. So, it's just we all have those things. Children aren't perfect. Us as parents aren't perfect. But you know what? We lived and we survived. These parents these days are just something else, man. Something else. Is Daisy in here? Daisy in the farm. Miss Daisy's in here. Hey, I didn't see you come in, but hey. We're just talking about low lives. Talking about monsters that live among us this afternoon. We have 5 very despicable people that were aired today. They were not just aired on the Bullhorn Betty channel. They were aired on Justice for All as well as Dolly Vision. And I'm sure they were aired on a couple other channels, but those are the channels that I know, love, and watch. And so just, hey, everybody, No, it wasn't her boyfriend, but he was there. Okay, I must be walking in. Oh, man, I don't know what's going on, but we need to say a prayer. Oh, pray for the fam and Miss Daisy. Speaking of monsters among us, her niece Amanda was deliberately Oh, good God. That's awful. That's awful. This is Betty.
Hi, it's Amy again. I'll be quick. I'm sorry to bother you. Hi, that case with the agency nurse. I'm a nurse and I was to do home care stuff. So I'm just saying that the agency that sent her out there is liable.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're liable. Absolutely. They could lose their license, their accreditation. I feel bad. These parents must have had, they need respite because of dealing with the child with these special needs. Because they're very trying, to deal with. So I just believe that that this agency is liable.
Oh, absolutely. Having somebody on drugs for days.
But wouldn't they have an inkling when you go in and you hire somebody? You wouldn't be able to tell that's what's going on.
Well, I'm saying that looking at her condition, I mean, parents should have, when she showed up for work, should have known that unless she shows up like that all the time. And if that's the case, then how could the agency not know? But I'm not sure if she showed up to my house in that condition and looking the way she looked. I'm not sure how comfortable I would have felt her watching my disabled child.
But I wouldn't even feel comfortable leaving my child with anybody, period. I never left my daughter till she was 1 with anybody. Because I exclusively nursed her, so I wasn't, I couldn't even have anybody take her off my hands because she never bottle fed. So I was an absolute wreck, exhausted. I had her in the room with the co-sleeper. I wasn't about to walk in the middle of the night. I was an older mother. I had my daughter close to 40. That was the only one I could get after much fertility problems and surgery and all these drugs I had to inject into me myself. But all I knew was that I was older and that I wasn't going to walk with my daughter from a bedroom. I wasn't going to leave her by herself. Because I just wasn't comfortable leaving a baby by themselves in a room that I couldn't monitor them. And I just was going to keep her because if I walked with her, I was afraid to drop my child. So, but I just remember that I was so tired, I wouldn't even trust anybody. Yeah. Everybody would ask me.
And I'm sure that these parents didn't really feel comfortable with somebody, but they figured, maybe it was just somebody that was coming in at night to take care of the kids so they can sleep, that they were going to be at the home. I'm sure that there was a doctor that said, you need help.
If somebody has to work, right? Maybe they have a job they have to go to when they don't have anybody to watch them.
Yeah.
But it's just very hard when you have a situation like that, when you have things to do, when you have a life to get to, and you can't leave them by themselves,
right?
And I would never accept help. I was very type A, and I didn't trust anybody because I just was and the problem with parents, sometimes if you're a perfectionist, that could also put you over the edge because you're not getting any sleep because you don't trust anybody with your kid. And I was just very type A. I did not want my child with anybody. I didn't trust anybody because of what I did for a living. I did case management for pediatrics and at a major hospital in the Bronx. And I saw a lot of stuff, and I said, you know what? From what I see, I don't want anybody near my child. And also, I watch these videos. If there's a serious shiver, I don't know, they have them on TV. I shouldn't be alive or something. It's like everybody needs to go with their gut. Your first instinct is always your best instinct. So if you have any doubts, go with it. So that could save you or your child. Anything.
But here's my issue. Even her teeth were you can see in that thing that her teeth were rotting. Now she's supposed to be an RN, and I have never met a legitimate good RN that has their teeth rotting out of their mouth.
Well, listen, I had our RN come in with my baby when she was born. She smelled like a cigarette. I said, I don't want you taking care of my child.
Yeah.
And when I didn't like that, people are unprofessional coming in. I sent her out. I didn't want my kid near her, with the perfume.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you work with a child like that? So I would advocate for myself, but some other people don't know how to advocate. So, That's about. I know you wanted to keep it short, but I just had to chime in because I'm an RN, and I was that's just unbelievable that they would hire someone like that. And they are liable, and they should have some repercussions in the legal realm. So.
Yeah, I'm sure that this is not over. We're probably going to hear that agency is going to be held liable, because how can you not
or lose their license to even send nurses out?
Yeah, my aunt was an RN. She's a wound care specialist. She just retired. She worked for home health agencies for years. And this is a woman that does not use substances and things like that.
Right.
And she was tested regularly.
Of course. No, I'm not. See, they don't. I work, but they don't. I don't know why they don't test me. I don't know what's going. Maybe this COVID thing is making everybody focus on COVID, and no one's paying attention to the other stuff. They're tunnel vision with everything's COVID.
Good point.
COVID.
Good perspective. Yeah, it's possible.
So I have a good day now. Thanks for taking my call again.
Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye. Interesting perspective. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe these people are getting away with these crimes because they're so hyper focused on, testing for the coronavirus, that they're not really testing for other things. It could be. We don't know. We don't know what the reason is. All we know is that this woman was able to be up for 4 days injecting herself with substances and watching a disabled child that needed a tube to breathe with. This is a child that could not breathe on its own. And this family trusted this agency and trusted this woman with the most precious of their life, and that was their own child. And this woman will forever, I hope, she was absolutely responsible, for her actions. And it's sad. It's sad and it's insane. But this stuff happens in our country all the time. And a lot of grief just from trying to get a little help so they can sleep at night, and they needed somebody to care for their child. And you trusted somebody with a life, and they failed you. And this was not just, somebody they picked up off the street. This was somebody from a home health care agency that possessed a registered nurse license. Sad. Sad. And because of her choice to show up to work that day, a child has lost its life. And it's sad. So I hope they got the driver of the truck. I'm also mad right now. Yeah, I just heard about that. So, we want to give a big Bullhorn Betty shout out to Miss Daisy and Crime Crazies and Critters on the Farm. Apparently her niece, Amanda, was intentionally hit by a Dodge Ram pickup truck and pinned. Don't know the condition. I'm just now learning of this, but sad nonetheless. And we want to make sure that we give him, kudos, or not kudos, but, prayers rather. I'm just reading something else. JLR can't carry because he was in prison at Shade Channel. Yes, he is. He was convicted of one crime only when he was young, a young teenage kid, which he had an adult sentence of 10 years. He has not broken the law since that time and has fully paid his debt to society. Unfortunately, one of those things are life-lasting consequences of not being able to have a concealed weapon or be able to carry a weapon, but it doesn't stop somebody like me that has a concealed weapons permit or anybody in and around him to have a gun like the gentleman, Brandon, that was walking through the forest. He had to have that weapon because, again, you don't know what you're going to come across. Thank you, Red Road Homestead, praying for Amanda. Yes, I believe Amy JLR has fully redeemed himself and then some, and has turned his life over to God, as well as help anybody. That man would give you a shirt off his back if he knew you needed it worse than he did. And, it's sad what he goes through, but I go through it too. And many people on here, depends on what side of the road you're on, right? You can be a despicable person like the Glairer that has done hideous things and continues to do hideous things to people go unscathed from the clip channels and the bullies on here. He gets to go unscathed because he is a bully, and it shows in his record. People that have come out here and fully redeemed themselves and work hard get crucified. But only the strong will survive. Guess what? The Bullhorn Betty channel is surviving. They are surviving. So with that being said, we just want a lot of love and prayers going to Miss Daisy and her niece Amanda for whatever they're going through. Anything that we can do, Miss Daisy, anything I can personally do, please don't hesitate to reach out and help, and ask, and I'm happy to help. Whatever we can do, we're here for you. We will always be here for you. Even if we didn't like each other, I'd still be here for you, because at the end of the day, I don't want anybody injured, and I want criminals to pay the price, and I want victims to have justice. And at the end of the day, that's what this channel is all about. So, all right, guys. Well, we are through the call session aspect of this day. And guess what, folks? I think we have covered as much as we're going to cover today. I want you guys to go out and make it a great Sunday. I appreciate all the time, the love and support you guys give this channel. And if you are on the replay crew, please don't forget to give us the thumbs up. It is free to tell me thank you. It's free to tell our audience thank you. And as many of you guys know, we work for our audience. We discuss cases that are relevant to our audience. Even today, whether to break this up into 2 sessions or 1 session, the audience decided they wanted 2. So we definitely, just want to give a great viewing experience to each and every one of you, and cover these cases and advocate for justice for these victims. And we will continue to do so each and every day. So I love each and every one of you. God bless each and every one of you. Go out and tell your families that you love them, and just hold them a little tighter this Sunday. Today's a day off. Go play ball with the boy. Go take the girls for some ice cream. Go do something. Go do something special for someone. And if you have no one to do something special for, next time you're walking down the road and somebody needs help, have it a little act of kindness, and just an act of kindness. An act of kindness goes a long way. It makes you feel good. It feels good to do good. And I truly believe that. I feel good every time I do something good and something nice. It's food for my soul, and it can be food for your soul. It's healing. It's healing. So, guys, I love you. God bless. Go make it a great Sunday. We're out. We're out. Bullhorn Betty is off the clock. Not really, because, I got to do some work behind the scenes, but for tomorrow. But at the end of the day, we're done. We're done. I'm going to miss you guys until morning. So have a great day. Love you, and God bless.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.